hard to get those really hardcore snowball momentum situations, right? Usually it's always so even until something so important comes up that both teams can't ignore it. That's why now the game revolves so much around the neutral objectives, and we're going straight into the drafting phase for game number 1 right here. And a lot of assassins are banned out from the side of GEEK fam.
Yep, GEEK fam first pick, ONIC second pick, Rafaela as the first pick here for GEEK fam. ONIC instantly matches it up with a Valentina, and yes, looking at GEEK, their bans is all about backline dive. So I'm really looking at this draft. Perhaps Marky is going to use a hero that doesn't have a lot of mobility that can really impact the game. I'm even thinking of an Ixia.
Ooh. This early on.
Not the first 3 picks, of course, but they're setting up for it.
Maybe, right? I mean, for a lot of the compositions that we have seen, I think the only team who's actually pulled the Ixia off this playoff has actually been Bigatron Alpha. Ixia and then a Tank Fanny to distract the front line and even the back line of the opposing team to give him that much room. But it is still a very signature Veramis for a boy.
Honestly, GEEK right now, they have a lot of protection, especially for the back lines. So, I don't know, I'm kind of thinking that they're really looking at team fights. I kind of feel like their key to victory here is 8 minutes and above.
8 minutes and above. If they want to do that, they gotta really stave off the early game aggression coming in from ONIC. And with the Baxia, with the Rafaela and Faramis, this is a very dangerous roam-heavy squad with a lot of movement speed they can really abuse to try and stop ONIC's aggression. Maybe keep Sans stuck in the lane in order to build up for that late game play. But I have to be careful about Keyboy and try and predict here. With the Edith showing up, is this gonna be a roaming Edith? Because Keyboy is definitely the go-to for ONIC when it comes to engaging, when it comes to finding those pickoffs in the early game.
That's the question every team asks when they see ONIC's draft. The Fredrin is also still flex. One of the only teams left that can actually still flex the Fredrin into the XP lane. An absolutely disgusting composition so far with that flex pick. But we do have a fun fact here. MPL ID still belongs to ONIC. ONIC's the only team that has successfully become back-to-back champions in MPL ID 2021 and then in 2022. And actually, these were the 2 teams in the grand finals in 2022.
I gotta say, that shows consistency. Now, if you've gotta analyze ONIC here, I kind of feel like the Matilda as well as the Angela ban is kind of a have-to ban in this kind of situation. But the Paquito as well as the Terizla, I do believe whatever marksman that they're gonna have, which Iritel is still open. I kind of feel like they just want to make sure that the front line isn't too beefy and there's no flanking going on. I just wonder
to take the field.
if ONIC picks up their marksman first, which I don't think they will. A Yuzon pick might be okay.
A Yuzon pick for ONIC.
Or GEEK fam.
For GEEK fam. Well,
because they already have a lot of protection here. But if they don't have anyone going to the back line, it's either go big or diversify. My personal opinion, looking at this draft, I kind of want a little bit more diversity. You can protect all you want, but someone has to disrupt the backline.
especially if you have a solid DPS source in your own backline. So I think it's going to depend really on the gold laner that you can get in this drafting phase. If you don't really get something that good, then you have to disrupt the better quote-unquote gold laner on the opposing side. With the final ban being a Uranus, seems like it's going to be a bit of a almost a front-to-back play for GEEK fam, trying to eliminate this high regen hero. But ONIC, they seem to be going for a bit more aggression. Everyone is close range, short range, and with the Claude here making a comeback, a newfound popularity, it's going to be countered by the Netherrealm, but only for so long.
Here's the thing. I believe that Claude, when he got nerfed, he got buffed. Because, here's the thing. We saw a meta where a lot of healers are coming in. What's the difference between healers and setup tanks? Not a lot of people can stop the Claude. So if the Claude is going to free hit the entire game, no one is chasing after him. Eventually, it's going to be Claude's game to win. Especially because they themselves have the Valentina. So for now, GEEK fam, they need... I don't think they can lock anyone for now. So you have to have someone that can dive or have very heavy burst to go against the Claude.
Well, speaking of burst, the Brody comes into mind. The Bruno as well, but is banned away. We'll go for some solid DPS on top of some dive as well in the XP lane to help provide some more synergy to the dive comp that they're already building for themselves. That's a Yutong into a Baksha, Faramis, Rafaela. That's a lot of mobility. Irithel even.
It's a lot of mobility and it's a lot of survivability as well, especially if you consider the Netherrealm as well. So usually we see an Angela being used in this way, provide the Yuzong and an Aerithel with sustainability and movement speed. GEEK fam has found a way to do so without the Angela.
Looking at draft, ONIC has a very solid draft. The export kind of shuts down what they want to do with their front line. And the Faramis, the Netherrealm is okay. But I believe with the Claude, you can basically shut them out very, very quickly.
It's all going to come down to how CW plays this lane, because we did see the Claude yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, against Bigatron Alpha, and that was the game where he was completely shut down by BTR in lane, and then outside of it, the chain continues. That's something that the Claude really struggles with now. If you get shut down in lane, what you going to do?
Exactly.
You can't clear those waves with your blazing duet anymore.
And right now, we're jumping into the Land of Dawn, where this match will determine who will go to the grand finals, who will secure a ticket to go to the M5. Right now, we're jumping into the game. It's ONIC against GEEK fam.
Smash them.
Well, let's take a look already at the early game setups right here. Keep your eyes on the jungles initially, because that's where most of the teams right now are putting a lot of their early game focus. They send the roamers to invade, or even send the mid laners to help out with the clear, or with staving off all these pesky disturbances for their jungler to ensure that they are on curve and they can contest the turtle at level 3 or 4 later on.
In the early stages, it's all about the pathing coming in from Niall, because he is the one that can really dictate how fast they can move towards the turtle, because if he can invade, get as much jungle creeps as he can, then he's activating what the Baxia is supposed to do. But with the lineup coming in from ONIC, I don't believe it's going to be all that easy to invade without getting punished.
And he's already quite successful at that, right? He stole that top side jungle. That's what the Baxia gives you. Good clear, good mobility equals to Fredrin not really having that free farm.
Looking at the emblems here by Dunia Games, agility is on the hands of ONIC, trying to outmaneuver as always, and 2 Wilderness Blessings in the hands of Sans and Keyboy. Expect a lot of roaming, probably of invades as Keyboy takes some damage.
Good damage. Stampede as well, bringing him back. And Beloyski pokes him a bit more as Keyboy just taunts a bit with that sticker. Meanwhile, here it's Kyrie who actually wins it out despite not using the Retribution, but now gets collapsed on. No dash! It gets cancelled out. Finally is able to maneuver out of that. Niall, an absolute oppressive monster in the early game.
And right now, Niall has level 4 compared to Kyrie level 3. I kind of feel like this is a good start, but I don't feel like it's enough, right? Because you're winning, but you're kind of not winning that much. So in the end, even with a 500, I would say even a 1.5k gold lead for the draft for GEEK fam, it kind of feels like it's still even.
Especially with the execution coming in from ONIC, it's just so clean sometimes and you have no idea. Sometimes it seems like they're not really supposed to go in, but then they'll go for a pickoff. And even early on, they're playing so riskily and still surviving on a sliver of HP, but GEEK now make their move.
That's an onward, only onto Beloyski. Some good burst as he flickers out of the way. The Black Dragon form to the back is able, his own Kyrie, and that's a Petrify. And a Furious dies, a retry battle. It's still going to be Kyrie who secures it for the team, as now it's a boy getting shut down, taken out. It's Luke even who follows through.
I gotta say, GEEK fam, in my opinion, kind of botched the engage there because the Black Dragon form came out way too early. It's almost as if ONIC, they're just trying to be like, yeah, you guys do your thing first. Once you're done, we're going back in. Now the goal has shifted. Now it's 1.2k goal lead for ONIC.
The other direction. Boy here taking some damage, but this is the aggressive stuff from ONIC, man. It makes you overestimate, maybe overcompensate, trying to engage early on, thinking that they're gonna be very speedy, but turns out they took their time in that engagement, and despite all the utility, the healing that GEEK fam has is just not enough.
And Marky, it's going to be quite locked down here by the onward. I think I want to give a shout out to CW as to how he is playing the Claude. He knows that he can't use that Blazing Duet to clear anymore, so it's a bit hard to actually go for the 2 waves, but he still does it with Keyboy's help. Keyboy's the one who freezes that bottom lane and holds it back.
Right now, honestly, looking at the draft from GEEK fam, if ONIC even makes a mistake, it's really hard for them to punish. It's very hard for them to capitalize because the draft really makes it so that you have to do something. It's not like you're trying to answer what ONIC is really trying to do.
So now it's Kyrie who's going to be zoned away from his own jungle, but it's a good Earth Shatter there by Keyboy, trying to disrupt, trying to punish with some poke. Trading it in with the purple buff. Sans brought back to the shield unity. Beloyski's walking in. That's another realm forced out. The Earth Shatter connecting on the Nile with the onward back, but it's not in range of the turret. Now it's another nether realm as Kyrie is forced back. Two teams just brawling it out, but no one falls.
Almost like there's gonna be a lot of these fights are gonna hinge on who actually pulls the trigger on the nether realm first. If you can force it out automatically, then you have the edge in these big fights, especially with all the AoE that ONIC has in their composition. A Blazing Duet to a Last Insanity can actually deny GeekFam so much only if they keep giving Sans the copy of the nether realm.
And right now the turtle has been started. It looks like GeekFam is trying to pull it to their side. G-Boy is there trying to make sure that he can get a pretty good engage. ONIC here, I believe that trying to bait out skills coming in from GeekFam. Will they take the bait?
Earth Shatter into Kyrie, just getting him with the last hit. Now Nile with the Poisons defensively. Luke baited all the way in. CW gets a kill. ONIC Claude in the losing matchup. Kyrie wants more. No retribution, but he can certainly force it out of Nile here, who needs to stay composed, and he does. Secures the orange buff and gets out.
What a disaster, man. The engage potential from ONIC, they used that crowd control to ensure that the retribution can't come through. And Beloyski saw through that. He tried to cover and ensure that Nile does not get tossed up by the onward, but it cost him his life. And just like that, GeekFam get run over due to how much damage ONIC can really output.
That's an onward again, but it's only to Nile, who could certainly just take this damage with Beloyski healing him back in. Oh, Shield Unity was cancelled. Now the stacks are being placed onto him, and the Brazer's Wrath gets rid of the Nether Realm. Keyboy, oh, a very good subversion of expectations, jumping in with the onward, but onto Beloyski as he finally just takes him out. 0-3-0. I'm waiting for that 7-death power spike for Beloy.
Yeah, but right now, GeekFam is losing all the fight. Arashi, what's up with GeekFam that every single time there's a fight happening, they're always on the losing side?
They seem to be always outmaneuvered, right? ONIC is so good at being efficient with their movement, and they're always in the right place at the right time. Every time they're trying to go for something, there's always backup for ONIC, and you can't really say the same thing for GeekFam.
I mean, I don't know. For me, it looks like they don't have enough damage. Is that really the case?
For now, they're gonna need a lot more items here to actually output that damage, especially in the hands of a boy who is struggling with the clear. And on ONIC, Keyboy is 4-0, and he is on an Edith with a Primal Wrath, and he is serving as the secondary marksman. Now take a look at the talent's prediction by Samsung Galaxy A34, A54 5G, overwhelmingly in support of ONIC.
Yeah, I kind of feel like with this kind of draft, GeekFam, you have to wait for Marky to get 2 items, the Berserker Fury as well as the Husk Claw, and then you can do something.
Well, now they're looking for some more across the map. It's still going to be Nile who secures the orange buff, but CW, 6 minutes. That's an impressive time for the Golden Snap. We usually see it 7 to 8, 8 being the average.
Yeah, right now with 4,000 gold lead for ONIC, it's really looking good for them. GeekFam, they really need to get more devs onto Beloyski to turn things around.
If they keep taking Beloyski out, he's going to be so behind on items, and he is still, even though he's a Rafaela, one of the tools that GeekFam is using to really open up the maps and find vision. If he can really serve that purpose, then everything falls in the shoulders of Nile and Luke, who, if he is taken too low, will be forced to use the Black Dragon form and just lower that much more the chances of GeekFam to contest all these neutral objectives.
I don't know, in my opinion right now, GeekFam just got to make it so that, hey, ONIC, do you want to engage the fight? I mean, like, come in, you know, we're open arms, we're opening the doors, come attack us first, and then we're going to counter-engage. Because looking at the draft, they kind of have to do that now.
But ONIC say, no, I don't wanna go in your house. I don't want dinner. What I want is to crack your house, siege it down from behind, which is, again, a pretty rude move.
Yeah, pretty rude
for a guest, you know, but hey, I guess do your thing when you're ONIC 6-0.
Well, if it's working so well, why wouldn't you do it? And for now, like Lepo mentioned, GeekFam must have to try and counter-engage, but there's no bait juicy enough for ONIC to jump on. Maybe it'll be the next Lord. That's usually the main big objective. But now, 5k gold behind. They have to make sure that they have the tools necessary to even put up a fight and not get completely steamrolled.
And it's so efficient from ONIC, this dismantling of the turrets, the way that they're able to position themselves and not waste any resources, but yet they zone GeekFam.
I would say this is them understanding how strong they are at this point of time. In 8 minutes, what makes them so strong? We have a 6,000 gold lead. They can push away GeekFam from the turrets without really sacrificing much. Because even looking at the movements coming in from ONIC, they never look like they're rushing things. They never look like we're desperate to start a fight because they understand, GeekFam, you don't have enough damage. We don't have to worry about anything.
Despite them not really forcing anything to happen, they're still fighting, not against GEEK fam in this game, but against the clock. They're trying to beat that clock with the 7,000 gold lead. It's 9 minutes. We usually see them beat it later on after the Lord, and guess what's spawning?
Yeah, beating the clock is not going to be easy.
The clock is definitely one of the more important things in the game right here. As we said, GEEK fam with some items can still be a big threat. They have mobility, which is a problem for ONIC, a team that requires that in and out maneuver. They kite back from the biggest dangers and then come back in when it's convenient for them, which is why their efficiency is just always so highlighted. Whenever they're moving, it's not up for now. They're setting it up for 2-3 minutes down the line when everything really lines up perfectly for what they want to achieve.
Oh.
Yeah, right now it looks like delaying the Lord, making sure that dies on the 40th second. So it looks like they want to set up the minions first, and then they want the Lord to spawn. Very clever coming in from Kyrie, where we see teams trying to rush out the Lord, but he wants to delay it for a little bit. For GEEK fam, I kind of feel like now they're putting all the eggs in one basket, and that egg is Marky, and they're the basket. But Marky right now, I don't know if he has enough damage.
I don't think that egg is really something worth fighting for, but it's the only thing that GEEK fam have in their arsenal.
To make things worse right now, ONIC has full control over the waves, over all 3 waves, so Marky has nowhere to farm. Slowly and surely, he's falling behind in EXP, in gold from CW, who has the win of nature. One more big issue for GEEK fam to think about in the middle of these big fights. If you take a look at the items, Sans with the Lightning Truncheon Power Spike is also... there's a chance for a pick-off to happen, and the Netherrealm just being denied completely if they're able to pick off a boy and crowd control him if the Purify isn't available.
Looking at items, it wasn't fair. Marky only has 2, CW has 4. He has double the amount of items here, so I don't know, man. GEEK fam, they need a miracle to stop this. Concealed play from Keyboy, not gonna hit anyone.
Ooh, good dodge by a boy right now, but Keyboy still finds it. Primal Wrath and Flicker backwards right now as the Black Dragon Form gets popped into the back. Boots still in the front. That's a Petrify onto 2, but another Realm saves it. It's the IMU that saves them. CW jumps back to the BMI. A boy is able to escape with some good healing from Beloy, and that photo, the Flask of the Oasis, getting them the shields that they need. A CW, what? Just finds a boy. Who's the assassin?
Just comes back in, a boy, the most calculated, usually the most risk-averse player.
Wow.
Gets caught out there. CW just completely outplayed him mentally. Only 1 item away from a full inventory stack. ONIC were forced to use all the battle spells, but it's worth it. And right now, the Lord is still 70 seconds away. Most of these battle spells will be available at the next big objective, but ONIC, they're not stopping anytime soon.
Nope, Niall's gonna be brought back. Kyrie's looking for the lockdown. No, he just baits out that red tree, takes it for himself. They are taking everything away from GEEK fam.
Let's rewind to the previous fight around top side. GEEK fam looked like if it's not for the Netherrealm, they can do something about it. At least now, you know, they're having fun. At least now they're like, we know what's up, you know, it's like... No, they're baiting. They're baiting.
They're baiting.
They know what they need. They need ONIC to be overconfident. They need ONIC to dive, and then Marky just be like, I'm 0-0-0. I have more damage than you think.
Exactly. He's been farming quite well, even though he's 3 levels behind, but this is why it was so scary to see ONIC lose yesterday. It was so scary, the fact that they dropped games, because usually when they drop games, when they look vulnerable, they'll come back the next day looking stronger than ever.
It's the ONIC way, right? Lose once and then never again after. With so many losses yesterday, they must have ironed out most of these problems. And speaking of the overconfidence, that is also in the keys to victory for ONIC, right? They cannot be overconfident, and even though they're winning, even though they're at a 10k gold lead where they can brute force players, they have to be careful.
Flicker and CW just gets melted down. The first kill on the board is a kill onto the marksman. An incredible value. Marky jumps in with a heavy crossbow, deals up damage and a lot. Like you said, he has damage. Luke jumps in with the Black Dragon Form to the back line right now. Is Kyrie, will he be able to steal it away? It is going to be him who secures it. And ONIC look for a 4v5. Sans in the back, dealing some damage. That's an Embracer's Wrath, connecting on the Beloyski as he gets some baptism to lock Kyrie down. Last Insanity, only taking a few of the HP bars away as Marky is still able to free hit. The Stampede brings Kyrie back, but the dash gets him back to safety. Sans is still lurking, but they decide to stop.
Good proactive play coming in from GEEK fam. They make it look like, oh, dude, this is it. This is over for us. We're not going to do anything. And at that moment, they find CW. And in fact, in that kind of situation, if they secured the Lord, they might have turned things around.
For sure.
Definitely, the Lord will just give them so much more space to maneuver, so much more momentum, and more importantly, control, where they can actually get in place to actually prepare an ambush for ONIC. But now with the Lord coming in, only 2 members escorting the main Lord, everyone else setting up the waves.
Onward onto Luke. Good, furious dive defensively. Niall has gotten rid of the Lord, using the red tree, gets out with a shield unity. A proper defense for a proper team. GEEK fam are still in it.
Yeah, but right now, ONIC, they're still staying in the base. Sans almost half HP, and right now Boots making sure that Luke as well as Niall are not going to be looking healthy. CW, 3 hits, and now only 1 objective is in the base for GEEK fam. This is a very rough spot for them.
GEEK fam is just waiting for a big fight where they can turn things around. But in a weird way, ONIC has the same kind of survivability that GEEK fam has because they have the Firaga armor, they have Edith with the Primal Wrath, technically 2 lives in 1 hero.
Onward. An Earth Shatter, dodged away from Keyboy's gonna lose his life. No, it's just the immortality right now. CW buys the Wind Talker, and that's a Petrify! And a big shutdown over. CW forced to use the DBMI, the defensive battle mirror image, and Kyrie now being chased down by a Black Dragon flying above the sky. Shield Unity coming down, but the Appraiser's Wrath grants him a little bit more sustainability, and Niall gets baited in. The healing is not enough from Beloy, and again, it's ONIC who are reversing what looked to be a good moment. CW with a blazing duet! Free hitting, but it's gonna be a fadeaway all the way to the back. Not enough to take him down, as now it's the last insanity. Beloyski gets taken out. Markey looking for the play. The Shadow Stampede from a boy brings him back into the dive. Luke gets chunked by the Appraiser's Wrath. 2 for 2.
I would say in that fight, GEEK fam was the one that managed to get a victory. The only bad thing was that Niall really committed, but the team didn't want to commit. It's like what my dad used to say. If you want to go in together.
I see.
W dad.
W dad.
Yep, going in together is definitely important, especially in this context. Niall is the main front line, so if he's not available, you saw that even though CW was free hitting on Niall earlier on, he was lasting a long time. If he can make sure that that happens while Markey is hitting back, that could be the key, literally the key that GEEK fam can use to turn this thing around, man.
GEEK fam just needs to understand what is the goal. Because we saw 2 different mindsets. One wants to go in, one wants to kite. They gotta make a decisive decision. You wanna go in, or do you wanna kite? And right now, Kyrie is kiting the Lord, and Boots is just trying to zone everyone away.
So which is it? What did he need to do? Is it better to kite, or is it better to dive, Arashi?
I think kiting is a lot better here due to the lack of mobility available to ONIC.
No.
Even the big...
The fact that you have to kite is why you have to dive.
Okay. I mean, hey, if you can subvert the expectations like that, it can just work, and Luke is attempting it right now, right onto CW.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. The dive into the kite. Boots has been poked quite well, and Keyboy isn't able to find an onward Earth Shatter, but GEEK fam, as soon as they dive, they try to kite back, and now they have to concede a Lord. 17 minutes means it's still enhanced, no evolved. Is this endable?
Not yet.
Not yet.
My mom always said, if there's a Irritel on the table, don't push too hard.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what my mom said.
Well.
If the enemy has an Irritel, don't push too hard. You might get punished. Because the Irritel has the potential in a 30-minute game can do around 300,000 damage.
I've seen that before.
And you can still lose, but still, don't push too hard.
Don't.
That's what my mom said.
Let's say if your mom is right. ONIC wants to go in with a hard push. And yeah, they're pushing hard to going in. That's NetherRealm bringing him a lot of HP. And that in the back right there is going to be CW caught, but NetherRealm saves him just for a bit. Silence down, 1 HP. Now over to nature is able to escape just for a bit again. And he buys the Rose Gold. Meteor sells the item. The base is still there, and a boy gets outplayed. Luke though comes in with a spike as well, and a Dragon Tail. Keyboy taking low. Niall with the shield unity, but now gets kited back. It's a 1-for-1. It's an XP lane for gold. Hey, your mom was right.
Let this be a lesson. Never doubt my mom. She knows Irritel.
W mom.
W mom.
Shout out LaFell's mom and GEEK fam. They've done a great job clearing the Lord, defending against that. And I think what's important right here is for both teams to recognize how much space their respective opponents' gold laners have. Because when CW is free hitting, it's a lot of damage. The exact same thing is true for GEEK fam. Looking at the instant replay, the backline was decimated, and they were at the NetherRealm, but it kind of only buys a bit more time, even though they're not exactly in a good spot themselves.
Something to talk about as well is the splash damage coming in from Marky here using the Irithel, and then he just bought a Wind Talker. So now the splash damage is going to be more. It's good defensively as well as offensively. Especially as we saw, ONIC, they're getting to a point they can't catch Marky. Now there's more movement speed for him. So in this matchup, this is why I say, no, sorry, this is why my mom says that if there's an Irithel on the opposing side, don't push too hard because she can kite all over the place. She can move and attack at the same time.
I mean,
Not a lot of viewers can do that.
At this point, I just gotta say, mom knows best, man.
Is your mom an analyst?
She should be.
In another
She
life.
should be.
She should be.
She should be. And my dad as well. Shout out to him as well.
Guest
Shout out.
performance soon?
What?
Your parents guest performance in Indonesia soon? Maybe, maybe.
No,
Why
that's
not?
for their son.
Yeah, I don't want them stealing my spotlight, all right?
Ooh.
I mean, like shout out to them and all, but dude, don't take the light away from LaFell.
Okay.
I want to go towards the light.
Oh, hang
Wait,
on.
is that,
Wait a minute.
Wait, is that
Wait
good
a
or bad?
minute.
Wait,
I don't
is
think-
that good or bad?
It depends. It depends, right? Because it depends on the context here. You don't want to...
Why don't I want to go to the light?
Because we need you here, bro. You're casting.
Well, if you, the
move
light
on.
is over there, so it's literally in front of us, and it's in the second floor. So technically, not now.
Is it a literal light or is it a figurative light?
See, if it's a figurative light, it's
It's
in
a
hospital,
metaphorical
and-
light.
It's a metaphorical light.
See, that can be both positive or negative, right? In the hospital, you probably do not want to say that.
Yeah.
Probably, unless it's like you
Because-
actually do. You're in a dark room and you actually want to walk out. Then I guess. But
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're
Context
hearing
matters.
this, the more you shouldn't do it, that's where you do it. Never let them know your next move. That's why when Arashi said they should kite, that's why I'm like, they should dive.
that's why.
If
you
ONIC
don't
is
know
like-
what you're doing,
Yeah,
then the enemies won't know what you're doing.
doing
Exactly.
the Toda.
They're doing the Toda.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wait,
hey.
no, RQ did the Toda. They got knocked out. Oh,
Hey,
Dude, that hurts.
that was personal for both of us. How could you, man?
LaFell's not a Toda fan. He's an RSG fan.
Oh, he's Malaysian.
I'm so sorry. I thought I saved it. I thought I
He
recovered
doubled
it.
up.
I'm so sorry.
Do you want to go towards the light? Because you're gonna.
Which light?
You're gonna.
We can arrange that.
Light
Both
from
lights.
RSG.
Both lights.
I would love to cast for RSG light.
He's gonna hook you in.
Yeah, he's a Franco player.
Franco, yeah.
Franco play. Okay. Well.
Okay, in that contest, don't go to the light. He's gonna lock
You're
you
right,
down.
you're right.
Yes,
You're
he's gonna pick you up.
So in this game, let's agree here. There's a chance that GFM can turn things around.
Oh, absolutely. I think so.
Right?
Especially in the late game, the Faramis damage. So like it's very low key. You don't see it happen. But in the games against RRQ,
Yeah.
this Faramis was doing one of the highest damage in game. And later on, that passive lowering the death timer is gonna be so valuable. It's an extra bit of, it's an extra tool that GeekFam can use to just try and make a play, find the moment.
Yeah, I agree. The damage coming in from Faramis low-key hurts. But Marky, he...
High key.
You can see the shake in the head of both Arashi and even ONIC. How did they not kill Beloy?
You know, people make mistakes. All right?
True.
Don't judge them for that.
Definitely.
And now the Lord is getting kited a little bit. This is going to be more intense. I have to say, if Luke does his job well, he actually uses the Petrify on Kyrie. The exact moment Nile can get the Lord is going to be insane. But now Keyboy.
Oh, an Earth Shatter connecting on the Beloy and Nile, but that's going to be Keyboy. Forced you to Primal Wrath quite early. The Lord is still at half HP. Keyboy getting chunked, flickering out. That's a big resource burnt out, but Boots is doing a good job at kiting, at poking. Suns with a splash of damage. Boots with some fire. Spitting that hot fire, and it's a reset for ONIC. But oh, Kyrie goes on to Nile, the ONIC prodigy, who's now loaned to GEEK.
This is why the reset from ONIC is so irritating, man. It's never a clean break. They're always somewhat following you, just close enough, far away enough that you can't really hit back. Now Sans will get stunned up.
Oh, a flicker. Two big resources, both Keyboy and Sans. Damage dealer and a playmaker.
Right now, honestly, ONIC, they don't have the healer, but it looks like they're always topped off in the match. Especially the content charge coming in from Sans. The moment he's low, he can get some HP back alongside with the movement speed. And Boots is making sure that Nile does not have a good game. Boots has to be... he has to zone them out, making it so easy for Kyrie. How does GEEK fight back?
They're ignoring the mid lane. GEEK are ignoring it. They want to commit right now. It's asking the Holy Baptism connecting to the back line. The Winter Truncheon gets bought in time and the Immortality as well. Sans buying so much time, but Marquis is still free hitting. Meanwhile, CW rotating towards the top side right now. Sans going to be slain. CW walking still. Niall versus Kyrie in retribution battle, and that's going to be CW in the base, wide open. He wants to go for the end right now, but who does this? Yeah, the minions. He does. ONIC takes it with a forced error.
Looks like ONIC is starting the match with a 1-0. We were talking about how GEEK has a chance. CW is like, I respect you. I'm not giving you that chance.
He heard you, LaFell. He heard you say, oh, in a team fight, Marquis can hit back. You can't chase the Irithel. Fine, we'll just go straight to the base. Let's skip the whole team fight.
I mean, if the Irithel is the problem, don't go towards the Irithel.
Exactly. Move away from the problem.
GEEK right now, they're putting all their eggs in one basket. And I kind of feel like that basket is getting smaller and smaller.
It is. The basket also is a metaphor to the chance that they have right now. With a 1-0, it does get smaller. Maths.
Maths, he says. Well, we'll have to see.
Wait, did you say math?
Maths.
Math?
Math.
Math?
You're saying with an F, dude. It's math.